This is Sophany. They came to us looking for help with his Honda Odyssey, which shakes at 60 miles per hour. So we're offering free services to people in need in Orange County. So if you have a need for help, contact us.
Yeah, so I have a 2002 Honda Odyssey, and
Okay.
it used to be running fine, but ever since I take it on the freeway a lot, and it started to vibrate about over 60 mile per hour. So I was trying to see what was going on. So I got the wheel balanced, but it kept vibrating. So that's when I reached out to Peter.
Okay.
That's,
So now you want to give me. So you mentioned. So you're single dad.
yeah, single
Had
dad,
three kids.
Yes.
And so what challenges have you been facing, like with
The
getting?
rent I pay is like close to $3,000. I live on, and I work about 3 jobs, so it's been hard to see my kids and to catch up with the bills. And then when the car problem alerts, it's like,
Yeah.
it's just so much to deal with, so
Yeah.
it's only you can do so much,
Yeah, and it's expensive, especially Orange County.
Yeah.
So right now it's the shaking. So you said you did the balancing,
Yes.
and the tires seem to be okay. Any other like air condition, anything else not having trouble,
The
or
window is kind of stuck down. I think
it won't
the
go up
regulator- Yeah, the regulator light went out.
Okay.
And, beside that,
on the passenger side?
yeah, on the passenger side.
Okay.
But beside that, like there's a little bit of oil leak, but like
Okay.
it's just tiny.
But it runs okay for
yeah, it
you and
runs okay,
everything?
yeah, it just over.
So here we're checking for play. So I'm going to check the bearings by checking the lateral play and check for any wear or looseness by shaking the tire. This will help me determine if I have a wheel bearing issue, a ball joint issue, a tie rod issue before kind of starting working on the car. So here at the bottom we're seeing that the uprights that hold the supports for the sway bar, they're worn, but these won't cause shaking. They'll just cause noises as when you hit bumps. I'm looking at the boot here for the tie rod on the right side, and that boot's damaged, and there seems to be quite a bit of play on the inner tie rod when I'm trying to move it around. So there's definitely a problem there on the right side. Looking at the ball joint boots, they all look good. The axle boots are okay. They're not leaking any oil. The left tie rod seems okay. The inner tie rod on the left side is also fine. I'm checking the boot on the passenger side. It seems okay to me. So it looks like I should start focusing on this tie rod, inner and outer. So first thing I want to do is I just want to replace these for sure. You'll see what we find out later on in the video and why you should test drive the car.
So here's the outer tie rod.
So these are the new tie rods. Or the new tie rod, yeah, the new inner and outer tie rod.
Okay.
So
We're going to try
this
to
is
get
what you're looking for.
the same.
So get the cotter pin off to take that nut from the tie rod off. So we're going to get that removed. The new one doesn't use it, so we don't need to save it. Uses a lock nut. What I noticed here when I was, once we get this boot off, I noticed that the play was mainly due to the tie rod being actually being loose and not tightened. The actual lock washer was not put on correctly, so it looked like. So we're going to use this big boy, get this thing loose, get this removed. I believe, if I'm correct, I think it was like a 41 millimeter or 36 millimeter. I'm not sure, but it was loose, so we're just kind of loosening it up a little bit. Normally, you would want to hold the rack shaft with the other wrench so that you don't damage it. So we're going to just remove this and put it on the table. Look at it. But here's the washer that was loose and why there was some damage going on.
Okay, so here we have.
So here what we're going to do is I'm going to disassemble, but I want to just take a measurement to just get a rough idea where I want to set the new one at. You should always align the front end when you replace any of these parts. I know you can try to get them as close as possible. The problem is that there's differences between manufacturer to manufacturer. So what I'm going to do is, since Sophany said that he had the car aligned, I'm going to use the left side as my reference and align the right tire using the left as a reference. So using my prior measurement, I'm going to try to get this adjustment as close as possible to the original measured distance length. Again, it's not crucial, but it'll help me get to the alignment quicker, and I don't have to be making too many adjustments on the tie rod to get the alignment back to where it should be. So once I get that where I want it, get again close enough, then we'll go ahead and install it.
Make sure there's 2 tabs. They have to go inside. Line up with the shaft. Make sure those are lined up.
So what I'm doing here is that lock washer has 2 tabs that go inside the shaft on the rack, and then also bends over
This
and holds on
ring
to
is
the
where you
inner
want
tie
this
rod.
boot to go to. And then you put the clip on. Okay. Sorry. Can you put this on, please? So I'm going to torque it.
Okay, so now we're going to torque this tie rod nut, which is a lock nut, to 32 foot-pounds. Okay, so we're going to use these alignment plates, and we basically use 2 tape measures to get adjustment. I like to give it a little bit of about a 1/16 toe in to get the alignment where I want. So now Sophany
mentioned that his passenger window isn't going up and down.
did mention that the passenger window is broken. He did not come to me asking for help with the window, but I'm going to go ahead and fix it for him. I suspect that it's a cable type window regulator and it's broken. So one thing I do recommend is, so that window's loose, is put it all the way up and tape it to the frame so that it doesn't fall and break. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of the bolts that are holding the door panel in place.
Switch off. Okay. Take the speaker out. And this.
So just get the clips that are all around the bottom, kind of like pry with your fingers across and around to get that panel loose. Forgot to remove this handle bezel here, so you have to unclip the cable and unplug the wire harness. There's some cables that I didn't pass through the opening of the handle there that go to the switch, the window switch. Okay, so now we're just going to remove all the bolts that hold the window regulator to the door frame.
Not recording, right?
No.
Take a quick video. So inside.
So there's since a regulator doesn't move,
In the two
it's
bolts
not as
that hold
easy
the
to get
glass
to
to the
these two
regulator?
bolts that hold the glass onto the regulator.
clip
So I got to
here.
get them from
This is
from
the
the
motor
side there,
cable.
access panel. But there are two holes
And it should be
that
locked
allow you to
on
put them on easily when the window's moving up and down.
Take this clip off. So the cable is loose. Okay. So here's a new one. Comes with the motor and everything. Okay. As you can see, obviously this is connected as opposed to broken off here. I'm going to get the bolts that I left on there that don't need to come all the way out and transfer them to this one. And then the new regulator came with new bolts, so we'll go ahead and use those. It's fine. Now we're just going to go in with the new one. This is the one that we didn't take out all the way. And then there's two here. The motor that we left in. There we go. And that one aligns. Now we can get this one in. Okay. You have to just cable back through, put it clip inside there, clip the motor here, and clip it. Clip that one. Okay. We're gonna lower the window. So remember it's the two.
So now I need to get the
ones, so
window
don't put the long
down.
ones in here because then they go too
And
far.
then get it to the access point where we can get the window attached to the window regulator. Just be careful. Don't ever use make sure to use the right bolts on all these right length bolts for all these spots, because sometimes in some cars you use a really long bolt or a short bolt is intended
If you align it
to be used, and you end up
the
breaking the
bolt
window
from there.
when it makes a
from here,
collision with that bolt.
this bracket. Now, because it was like the switch was acting weird.
So the fun part here is, of course, Windows not working, doesn't want to go up or down. I later do check power direct to the motor. Motor does work
It goes
up and down.
Up. But so there's like, I don't know, has this worked before the switch?
Yeah, it did.
It did?
But it's always, most
The
likely the
regulator was
switch got
broken.
shorted from, playing with it while the motor was shorting or something. But, sometimes you can't, make that assumption that it worked before and it should work, and then you drive yourself crazy trying to figure it out. Well, now here, Sophany's taking the car for a test drive, and here's where I made a big mistake because he's going to come back with a report of the car still shaking. Now, the mistake I made was I did not test drive the car. I had no idea when he said shake. I made an assumption of what type of shake, but I did test drive the vehicle, and it does have a violent shake at 60 miles an hour, which is not something to do with the steering system. So now I'm checking the axles here because I'm suspecting that there's something going on with those axles, even though they look okay and there's no leak and they don't make any noise when you're turning left or right. I suspect there's a problem. And as I'm checking the right passenger side, the intermediate shaft housing and bearing has a lot of play. So these axles are going to have to come out. Problem is that that intermediate shaft is a very expensive part and no longer available, from Honda. So I'm going to have to figure something out here to get this going. I can get the bearing, but I want to replace that aluminum housing as well. But you'll see what route we took to get this fixed. So here we have to remove the upright bolts, the two bolts that hold the strut to the hub. And so I'm just loosening them first, and then I take it off with the impact. So I'm going to get the hub out of the way so I can get access to that axle and get that axle removed. So now we're going to press the intermediate shaft out of the housing. I'm going to take a look at how much wear there is on that housing, and sure enough, I need to replace it. So here we are at Pick Your Part. The one Honda that has good axles, good candidate, happens to have wheel locks on all five actually. Wheel nuts. So that was fun. Good thing I had a tool to remove it. But like always, there's always one that's stubborn, and basically what's going on here is it's slipping on this tool. I can't get grip on the nut, so I cut some wire, got some copper strands that I took off a piece of wire, and I put those in there, wedged them in there. So I'm hoping to create some friction and get this removed. The good news here is that the impact is not loosening it, so it has a good grip on the nut. So I'm going to have to manually loosen this using the ratchet. Now, obviously, if you have the right key to remove the wheel lock, you're not going to run into this problem. But it seems to be that this one lug nut is really tight and probably rusted in there. Who knows? But this is kind of like the problem when you go with these lock nuts and use the tool. But there's always a way to remove them if you need to. So once I fought this a little bit, I think this took me longer to remove this wheel than it did to remove the axles over here at the junkyard with the heat on my back. But I was just so glad to see that wheel loose that I just didn't care. Got that out. So now we got the axles out. Here are the axles that I removed out of the donor car. They're in good shape. One of them on the driver's side is not that great. I'm going to go ahead and buy it anyways, just in case. I don't know the condition on the driver's side on Sophany's vehicle, but we're going to go see if his is better. We'll keep his. And sure enough, I kept his driver. Axle was in better shape than the one I got from the junkyard, but I did replace the passenger side. Now I'm torquing the axle nuts on both sides, and then you have to make sure to bend the little tabs to lock them in place so that they don't come loose. Okay, and don't forget to torque your wheel nuts. Now here's the switch that didn't work. I got a switch off of the junk vehicle, and there you go. It's working up and down like it should.
So what I did, it's just gonna be interesting. Okay, so I went to the junkyard. Okay. I tried because I checked the switch, and the passenger side wasn't working down. I replaced it, and it's working down on the passenger now, up and down. But the driver's side, it won't work down still. So I think it's the switch on the driver's side. For whatever reason, the switch is bad. It could have shorted it out because of the motor being bad. So then you had axle bad on the right side, but the worst part was the intermediate shaft. Okay. So this intermediate shaft, this bearing, the housing goes bad, but this is like a $500 part. And they don't even make it anymore. So I was able to find a good one at the junkyard.
Did you
So
get a price on it, or?
yeah. No, at the junkyard it's not too bad. So I replaced that. I got the other side. I took it out, checked it, and I drove it, and it drives good. So I want you to go drive it.
Let's see. See how it drives. Let's see if it. Yeah? Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary when it shakes.
Yeah, and the thing is that the shaking actually damaged it more.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
It damaged outside
Because over time, like I said, it's just that one aluminum bracket,
Yeah.
and it ended up just basically, even if I would replace the bearing, it wouldn't have worked.
Oh,
So that's why I just went to the junkyard. So
Luckily,
that was the only way I was going to get it to work, because I couldn't even find it. I tried looking for if I could buy it, I would have preferred buying than having I spent more time at the junkyard than I did
when it was fixing the car.
fixing your car.
It wasn't hard.
So yeah, so funny. We went out for a drive. So just final thoughts. You got the car. You got your car fixed.
So Peter troubleshooted all the problems that it had, and he found the main problems, and we took it on the freeway, and the car drove really smooth compared to what it was before. It felt much safer. You know, I feel much safer with my kids now that Peter got a chance to really look at everything and figure out the main problems, and I'm really appreciative of what he's done and to help me out and my family out. So we have a safe.
Well, I'm glad. That's my biggest concern was making sure got it fixed. I did your ball joint, your tie rod, which was bad on the right side, but it was I didn't test drive the car, but yeah, that was didn't fix your problem.
Yes.
So I was luckily able to fix it today.
Yes,
So
and also he also addressed the window problem I had. He didn't have to, but I really appreciate he did. He got it done real quick, and now the window is working perfectly.
yeah, I just didn't. You have your kids in there and AC and it's hot. I
appreciate it.
I felt like your car's not parking it's not safe with the window down.
Yeah.
So
I'm really blessed to have you, Peter. I'm really blessed to meet you.
Okay, man. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
Peter.
to everything.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
glad I was able to fix everything
You're
for
the
you.
man, Peter.
So yeah, be safe, and I hope it runs for a while.
Yeah,
No
I hope
problems.
so
I
too,
hope it
yeah.
gives you no trouble.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank
Sophany.
you, Peter.
Okay,
Appreciate you
no
again.
problem.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
Take care, Peter.
thank you.
You too.
We're in Orange County, California. If you yourself or know someone that's having financial difficulties and can't get their car repaired, please reach out to us and see if we can help. Give us a little background on yourself, a little background on the vehicle and what's going on, and we'll get back to you. The only thing we ask is that you're willing to be on YouTube for any of the in-video shoots. Thank you, YouTube, and if you have any suggestions or recommendations for us, please let us know in the comments.